Speaking of food stamps, this provision buried way deep inside a bill introduced in the House of Representatives by a gang of right-wing repig-licking thugs is frankly stunning. The gang of thugs includes GOP Representatives Jim Jordan of Ohio, Tim Scott of course, South Carolina, Scott Garrett of New Jersey, Dan Burton of Indiana. Remember Dan Burton? Dan Burton was during the Clinton years, Dan Burton was to watermelons what Dirty Harry was to bad guys. Dan Burton is the just batshit crazy guy who went out in his backyard to shoot watermelons in order to prove that Hillary killed Vince Foster. Jesus, I wish I was making that up. But no, including Dan Burton of Indiana and, of course, Louis Terror Babies Gohmert. They've introduced H.R. 1135, designed, quote, to provide information on total spending on means-tested welfare programs, to provide additional work requirements, and to provide an overall spending limit on means-tested welfare programs. An overall spending limit on means-tested welfare programs. And means testing, of course, you have to be poor to a certain level in order to get food stamps. And so that means it's means-tested. An overall spending limit, meaning you can only collect so much in food stamps in your life. After that, you just get to effing starve. Starve! But as has also been noted elsewhere, way deep down in one of the creepy, spidery, dark little corners of the bill is a little something, a little love tap for anybody who decides to get uppity with their bosses, employers. Here's the language from the bill. Section 3. Striking workers ineligible. Notwithstanding any other provision of law, no member of a family unit shall participate in the food stamp program at any time that any able-bodied work-eligible adult member of such household is on strike, as defined in the Labor Management Relations Act, 1947, 29 U.S.C. 142, paren 2, close paren, because of a labor dispute other than a lockout, as defined in Section 2, Paragraph 9 of the National Labor Relations Act. You got that? If your employer is treating you like human waste and persists in refusing to pay you a living wage, a wage commensurate with the labor which you provide to said employer. And if you, in conjunction with your other fellow servants, that's the kind of language the law uses, fellow servants, decide to band together in exercise of your First Amendment rights, which don't really exist because the First Amendment is no longer anything more than a life support system for the religion industry. If you do that, and if you strike, and if the strike drags on, and you become ineligible, or you become unable, I should say, to feed your family, or as George W. Bush famously said, put food on your family, then Representatives Jordan, Scott, Garrett, Burton, and Gohmert want to make sure that you understand that you, and more importantly, your loved ones, your babes in arms, will starve. You got that, citizen? Don't be thinking you're going to get up on your hind legs and act like a human being and stand nose to nose and eye to eye with your betters. Because as Jim noted, the Republican Party wants you to understand that they are more than willing to use food as a weapon. And all the little knuckle-walking, mouth-breathing, elbow and knee pad-wearing, oatmeal-dribbling, house helmet-wearing teabaggers say, "Thank God we're a-taking our country back." Just makes you feel all warm and fuzzy inside and maybe want to cue up a little bit of Lee Greenwood. Be thanking God that we're Americans, where at least we know we're free.